Ding ding ding, get the ring ring ring! No, we're not fighting Sonic Electronic Man, we're fighting Ring Man! So, Ring Man, maybe one of the toughest bosses in the game. Saved one of the stronger ones for last, and right off the bat, we're shown one of the gimmicks of the stage, this platform which, once you stand on it, will start disappearing from the back to the front. Which, after removing these enemies from play, can show that that means relative to its position of the stage, it's not always the left to the right side. So, since we're intended to start from the right, those bottom ones disappeared from the right. As long as you remember that, you should know when to jump and where in regards to these platforms. So, tile set on its own is so-so, and the background is so-so, but I do like that transition. So, the Hippo boss. I could keep hurting it like this. It does have a different gimmick, which we'll see later, but I think this was working well enough. The thing about Rain Flush is, it doesn't do a lot of damage to mini-bosses. It's a great screen nuke, and a pretty good way to cheese mini-bosses, but also, if you use it against mini-bosses, you will run out of weapon energy. We saw that earlier, but I figured I'd reinforce that. So, Flash Stopper rather, will stop the enemies, but not like the platforming gimmicks. Those will still work as normal. This ring boss is not really much, just jump when he stops and flings his rings out. He flings them in the same directions every time, so very predictable. But now we've got another hippo on a pedestal. Ain't that just life for ya? So, the main gimmick of this boss is that he's too high up for us to hit, so I'm gonna do the dumb thing and try to use Dust Shot to bounce some debris off of his missiles into him. I don't suggest doing this, but it's certainly a strategy. I tried to do this to be impressive, and eventually I'll realize that it really doesn't work well at all. It's a good thing that the Dust Shot does not really use up much weapon energy at a time. It's a good economical weapon. Still though, not very damaging like this. I can damage the pillars with the debris, but the angle on that's kind of weird, and they will, of course, be repaired eventually anyway. So, yeah, just gonna finish it off like that. Gonna do the old time stop. Oh, hey! Look, a ceiling. Guess I can show off the wire. I showed off Balloon earlier and didn't really make much of a fuss about it, but we've now used both of these secret items. And, wow. Thanks, Eddie. Thanks a lot. Also, for a moment, I didn't realize what this stage's deal was vis-a-vis its aesthetic, and for some reason I saw like the weird contraptions within the floor as like robot fossils or something like that. I didn't parse it for a moment. Oh yeah, we've got new platforms. These will disappear from front to back, so you are going to need to jump over them because they'll disappear from under your feet. You can outpace the other platforms, the rainbow ones, but not these. Well, that's a weird one. That one is actually surprisingly easy to get over. In fact, it acts how I thought the rainbow platform would act, honestly. In that specific position, anyway. Alright, and we're at the boss. Okay, so, Ring Man. Oddly enough, if I remember correctly, he is actually built for fighting, and is also a strategist, and is also a merciless enemy. Yeah, Ring Man's an interesting one. Anyway, his ring boomerang. You know how Dive Man was like relatively good at zoning? Ringman's really good at it. He attacks very quickly, and he will always be trying to put you in the exact position you'd need to be in to get hit by him just running at you, if you didn't already get hit by his ring boomerang. So yeah, it's really difficult to get a good stride in this battle. It was super uncomfortable getting him into a pattern, but I did get it eventually, and got some really lucky dodges in the meantime. Honestly, he is so good at controlling the battlefield. It's honestly kind of impressive that they managed to do that with such a simple pattern. So we get Ring Boomerang, which we're not going to see much of because the Fortress stages are coming up, and I'll want to conserve weapon energy. But it works pretty much like it did in this battle. So, that was the final Robot Master, and he was a bit of a dead ringer. For what? I don't know, I'm just trying to force a pun.